Hello and welcome back to Senpai Noodles. I'm Leon, and also known as Oliver, and hosting with us today we have Blake.
Hey there.
Jason.
Hey.
And with us for the first time, Josh.
Hey there.
Since it's your first time here, Josh, would you mind giving us a little glimpse of how you were introduced to anime, as well as a couple of your favorite picks?
Okay, so I started anime with Naruto because all of you guys were like, yo, you need to get into anime. So I was like, alright. So I started with Naruto, and that turned into a large addiction that fulfilled about 6 months of my life. But binge watching, good stuff. So I watched through Naruto, got caught up, and it's still going on. But in any case, probably favorite anime have to be Death Note, Steins Gate, probably Naruto. Naruto still falls into top anime.
You've just made a lot of enemies.
I know. You never want to talk about the big three. I know.
But hey,
I mean,
one of those enemies is not me, because you love Steins Gate, and that's absolutely amazing. Oh.
And you missed our talk last week about Death Note.
I know.
Speaking of which, if you haven't heard it, go listen.
I tried to. Where do I go to listen to that?
Well, I'll get that at the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
That was a perfect plug.
I tried.
YouTube or iTunes or probably Stitcher. I'm not sure how that works.
I'm trying to plug you here.
Whoa. All right. Thanks for the introduction, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
As always, each week we pick a show and discuss it in its entirety. And this week we'll be talking about the first season of Overlord, and if you're listening to this in the future and it's hard to tell where exactly the first season is because they didn't do the popular thing and just name their second season Overlord 2, then you should know that we're discussing the first 13 episodes. Does anyone want to fill in a synopsis? Otherwise I have one written up.
It's been a little while since I've watched it. I kind of refreshed briefly earlier today, but I think you're probably better attuned to it because you've watched it earlier and have something written up.
Okay.
Probably better if you do it.
Overlord is about Ainz, who...
Whoa, redo that. You broke the sound barrier with that. The mic went like robot as soon as you started up, so...
Okay.
Heads up.
Overlord is about Ainz, who is the avatar for a player in an immersive MMO, which is a massively multiplayer online game. The servers are shutting down and he remains logged in when the game ends, but he awakes to find out that the world and the computer characters are now all real. And as the ruler of a guild of undead players, Ainz has now set his sights on conquering the once fictional and now real world. So, anyone have thoughts on the wonderful journey that ensued after that?
You know, sometimes I really wonder if he actually is trapped or not. Because, I don't want to divulge into other shows, but other shows, it's them based around, let's get out of here, but this show is just maybe he just is enjoying it so much now that he didn't realize this aspect before without his friends. Maybe they actually did have personalities.
Well, I mean, he touches on that very thing in, one of the first 2 episodes. He makes a statement of, what's so bad about this life compared to my other life? I just go work, then come back home, play this game, and then go to bed. So, I mean, I think you're right on, where even if it's just a fantasy inside of his head, I think that was kind of one of the things I really liked about it, was he's yeah, if this is a fantasy, whatever, I like this world much better.
Yeah, he's immersed completely in the fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
So every WoW player.
I don't know, wow.
Go ahead, Blake. Okay. I did like that his first instinct wasn't, how do I get out? Or, I mean, okay, he did have that second where he's like, I'm stuck here, maybe I should try to get back. And then, like you mentioned, Josh, he did have that realization, if I do get back, my life kind of sucked. I didn't have any friends. I went to work, I came home, it was boring. I could live in this world and maybe that would be better. And I think that's something that shows like SAO or Log Horizon, other animes that deal with being trapped in a video game they don't follow that course. And I liked the different path that they took with this one.
I think that's what makes it so unique and actually just really great is that he just honestly like you know, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse here, but like he took like all of half a second to decide I don't care.
Right.
This is real now. This is better than this is what I wanted the whole time.
And stepping aside from like the whole mental aspect of it, one of the other reasons I really like the show is the fact that I feel like it's talks more about like what an RPG really is, because it divulges into more skills, it divulges into items even, and how he had to acquire them, and like what they do, because items actually like play literally an important role in this, like a huge role in this show.
I gotta say that I chuckled every time they took like the full minute to just like do the prep before every battle of just like casting 20 spells to buff all of their stats.
That's legitimately
Yeah,
how it is!
I love
I was
that.
like-
He got to the final battle and he's like, well, it didn't register as a battle yet. I'm going to do everything I can.
I was waiting for the Leroy Jenkins to ruin it all.
At least I've got chicken.
Oh man. But no, it was awesome. That's one of my favorite aspects of it, that they went into some nitty gritty details of like what an actual game was like, not like, oh, I'm just a fantasy character.
Yeah.
Like I swing a sword and call a couple things. And that's like, no, I'm legitimately have like tons of stuff at my disposal and I legitimately use it.
And with him being as high ranking as he was in the game, he can literally pull out anything and be like, yeah, I had it in storage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
from a writing standpoint, I think that works well in their favor.
Well, I mean, that's how every MMO is. That you get to a certain point and you're just like, yeah, I've got a bank full of literally everything.
Right.
So
I have stored 1,320 potions, have yet to use them. Might as well use them now.
and like at the start where he gave Gazef that totem that let him switch places with him,
Yeah.
and Albedo was like, why would you use such a worthy item on such a like piece of scum that's just, like this lowly human? And he's like, that was free, and I have like 1 million of them. But thanks.
Yeah. And then, definitely touching on that side of him now, it's just like how he seemed to change as a person.
Mhm.
When he realized like maybe he realized like, oh, maybe I am stuck, but every person was now human to him.
That is one thing that I'm kind of wondering, though, on why he's so content in this world, is I'm wondering if maybe there's some part of him, because, like, it touches on how his mind and psyche has changed, to being, like, he's feeling undead. I'm also wondering if there's something that's, like, causing that he's so immersed in this world, if maybe that's what it's trying to touch on, that, you know, whenever you get so immersed into this game, it's changing your psyche, and maybe that with, like, any other online game.
Clearly he died when the server shut down, and this is purgatory. I mean, no one's ever done that before in the show.
Is it really purgatory though? I don't know. He's enjoying
No, I don't think so at all.
it. I guess people enjoy purgatory. I don't know what it's like. Nobody does.
I do like something that they kind of played on the psyche level, and he does change as a person, but part of that is forced on him because of the position he's in.
Right.
In that he kind of has this weird role as a pseudo-dictator, where if he doesn't act like this horribly, like, ruthless leader, that the people he leads might turn on him, so he's kind of like... he's just as much in debt to the people who follow him as they are to him.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
if he just, like, lets his guard down for a second, I'm pretty sure, like, Demiurge would be like, alright, I'm like the devil incarnate. Let's take over this guy.
Yeah, he seemed, honestly, out of a lot of characters, he actually seems like one of the most loyal. He may not look it. I thought he was actually pretty loyal to everything.
I think that all of them have that same loyalty and of course, I mean, like, at the same instance, I feel like all of these NPCs know a little bit more about the situation than they're, like, letting on. I don't know. Just, like, a feeling that I have. Like,
Yeah.
They also carried over all of their, like, hard programming from
right.
Yggdrasil.
Right.
And do not quote me on that being the proper pronunciation.
We should have got
Okay.
the soundboard, and then every time we wanted to say the name, we could just hit it, and it would have Eins come up and say, Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil. We'll just spin it, you know. Yeah. I did like the little touches they did, like having the other players or supreme beings, however they were referred, they all had gamer names. So there was like Lord Touch Me. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then towards
Very
the end,
true.
they were like, they referred to him as Touch Me Sama, which just kept laughing when they said
Yeah.
That was that guy's like mess around account, and then he got something good on it and couldn't transfer over, so he just ran with it.
I've literally had that happen to me.
He's like, I've come too far. We'll just keep going.
Yeah. They were like, here's a free $20 cash shop item. And I was like, cool, I got one on my other account, right? And they're like, oh no, it's all shared. And I'm like, oh no. That's what happened to him. I'm sure.
Yep.
So, which character is everyone's favorite?
Eins.
Eins.
I don't know.
Favorite.
He interests me just because he always seems so unpredictable to me. Because I don't know, like,
Sure.
he's very compassionate, but at the same time, he plays his role sometimes too, where he's just like, oh, you're gonna be brutally murdered right now, and don't follow me, otherwise I will brutally murder you.
He also plays the role in cases where he doesn't need to, like when the three adventurers that went on him when he was in the Black Knight costume.
Yes.
Peter, I can't pronounce names. Oh gosh. The archer, the
archer, the healer, and the
yes,
warrior.
those guys.
Yeah.
When they were all murdered, he basically blackmails Lizzie, which is the grandmother of
Yeah.
and like none of his followers were around for that, so he didn't have to be cruel and unusual there. Like,
And he wasn't being,
Well,
yeah.
At the same
he
time,
wasn't
though,
in character.
Yeah, he
I
was,
thought that was on purpose. I thought that was going back to the psyche effect, because I thought he said somewhere in there, like, no, these were just people that I worked with at one time. They weren't allies. So,
Right.
yeah, but he was telling
he was
that
in that
to
character.
Clementine.
right, I don't know though, like, I really thought that he was just kind of like, that character shift again, that psyche shift in game of, these were just unworthy humans, because like, I don't know,
See,
I don't know.
Okay, I hadn't thought about it the way you had, at least as much, Josh, but, okay, so in the first couple episodes, he goes and saves that village, and, seems to care, at least to some degree, and he's talking about how his mind is being changed, and, he doesn't really see them as equals, but he still wants to save them, and then we get further in, and he's just like, oh yeah, they're dead, whoops, and doesn't care at all. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
Right.
And I don't know. It was hard to follow. I feel like if it was a little longer, we would have gotten to see more of him and understand that transition more. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell when he was in character and when he was just a new version of himself.
Well,
Right.
so he told Clementine that, they were just people, like, she's like, oh, I bet you're really mad, and he's just like, they're just people I hung out with once. And so, but then when he, like, started killing her, I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, they were my friends, now die. And he didn't. And then I thought he was gonna go and revive them, too, and he didn't. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm wondering if where they're gonna head with the show is they're gonna turn him into a legitimate villain, but, you've been with him through this whole thing, so you kind of root for him at the same time. Or he might become like the lesser of two evils with the Black Scripture Dominion
Right.
people. Like, they're like crazy and stupid. And he's like evil, but like at least he's like sane evil. Like, I wonder if they're gonna play that up, where he is becoming this character of someone you root for, but you don't want to at the same time, but you do.
So
I could see that.
I have a question that's on a different topic real quick. we keep saying that there's a season 2. Has it been announced? Because I haven't been able to find anything on season 2.
Haven't said it's not happening, and it's been selling really well. So that's
Okay. The only thing that I read on it, or that I was able to find, is Madhouse is the production, like the animation production studio. So, and Madhouse is like really known for never making a second season of an anime, because they just make the anime to like boost the sales of their manga. So that's what I'm really afraid of. That's what I was saying in the group message before, that I'm afraid that there's not going to be a second season just because of this production company.
They can probably switch production companies though too. I mean, you can switch all the time.
Yeah.
Just whoever they give the business to do it.
True.
So, it may not be my Madhouse, but I think they probably will do something. I mean, I'm not sure how old the manga is. I think it's not too old, but it's still relatively new. The fact that it's still being in the process of which leads me to the point of the, like how the final fight was. Cause, honestly, if you think about it, it didn't really feel like a final fight to a show.
I gotta say, the final fight definitely lost some stars for me, like, from the anime, because it was too rushed. It was like, I want to see him find someone as an equal match that isn't one of his, just like, oh, it's a world item. It's turned my ally against me. Alright.
Like, see, we haven't seen enough of the world items. We haven't seen the people who created it, and it also leads us to why this isn't, like, the end of it. Because there's a lot that can happen.
That's interesting. I had the exact opposite reaction.
Really?
The last part was amazing.
Well, I thought the whole thing was paced great, especially for a 13-episode series. Usually they feel really rushed, and I didn't think it felt rushed at all. But they still worked in 3 major story arcs at the same time. So I thought they did it really well. And I don't know, I think that he hasn't found his match, like, he this whole time, and he's not going to. Like, honestly, he probably could have started out as, the warrior in that situation and fared pretty decent from the start, but this way he got to secure his victory.
I felt like the final fight itself was a little rushed, but other than that, I think the pacing was good. And I'm kind of with Oliver. I did like the fact that he fought one of his own.
Sure.
Rather than just introducing a new, big boss in the last, or second to last episode. Although, if they don't continue it, then yeah, it's gonna feel kind of weird. To me, this felt like the losing words here. Pilot. It felt like a pilot season.
I got you.
So that, you watch these 13 episodes and you get hooked on all the characters and the world and everything, and then you're questioning, what is this world item, what are these threats? And then they can bring you into this bigger season with more stuff. After the last fight, that's kind of what it felt like to me, but
I think they left it it's just a great cliffhanger, because they have all these unanswered questions that are easily answered, but, tune in next time.
Yeah. And I like...
It feels like they can go so far with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how also, oh shoot, what was I thinking? Like, the show hasn't limited himself by Ainz thinking, like, how do I get out of here? It hasn't limited himself by that, so they've left the door wide open to, like, limitless possibilities within the world.
Yeah, and another part is he hasn't found anyone who has been his match. Like, this is the last arc was definitely where they got the closest, but, I mean, even still at the end there, he had his trump card that let him say basically, yeah, I'm standing here as the ruler of this world, and nothing can challenge me. I mean, that's, I think they've done a very good job with how not threatened he's been the whole time, of making the show interesting, because if nothing's a threat, then it can be really boring, but I didn't feel that way at all.
They introduced a lot
Superman.
They introduced a lot of aspects of which that, again, like to your point, they put out aspects that made it seem that wasn't a problem, like how you said, like, he had to face, like, his morality is like just being human and coming into this new world, as he had experienced a whole bunch of new stuff that he never thought of at first. Like keeping up his act of being this high ruler darkness guy, so.
Yeah. That first arc that they had, where they were pretty much just really addressing the fact of how powerful he is, that was really reminding me a lot of One Punch Man. Just,
Are you talking about the one where he took on the army of Gundams, angels, things?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that fight. I was just thinking, okay, is this gonna kind of be like One Punch Man, or where are we going with this? And then it took off into that second arc, and I really enjoyed that second arc. Including the part whenever, like, all of his comrades die, and he's just like, yeah, they were just allies. I don't know, that really stuck with me. But I guess the only reason I didn't like that final fight was, I don't know, I would have liked it better if, like, Shaltir would have been, I don't know, I don't like the idea of the world items, of just like, there's always that next, more powerful item kind of thing in the game.
It's an item that's like, it's unpredictable, that we can't predict.
Right.
It literally, like, it opens countless doors, infinite amount of doors of what they can do whatever they want.
Well,
That
Right.
we can't predict and stop something.
Deus Machina, or
Exactly,
Machina.
yep.
Yeah.
to be fair, they introduced it at the end of the first season, which is only 13 episodes. So, if this series goes on for a while, they got it out of the way early.
True.
I mean, what wasn't his staff like a world item?
No, I think it's
No.
just like a 1% highest level dungeon boss drop or something like that.
Well, different. It was made out of different pieces
it was,
from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I thought it was really close to that, though.
They did also establish, I think he said there were only 20 world items. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, they limited the scope of it, and they established it early. I think it's okay.
The only thing though, I was wondering how many world items, I was wondering if that was a mistranslation on the sub part, because how many, world items does Eins al Ghul have? Or Eins...
Eins al Ghul.
Yeah.
That's why I've only called him Eins. I'm like, I don't know how to say the rest of that.
It's Momo?
Yeah. Mr. Momo.
But how many world items do they have? Because
I don't know.
He never used one, but he gave 2 to, Mari?
He gave 3.
He gave 3, okay.
Cause there's one, Mari had, one on each hand.
Okay.
And then,
Oh, were those separate?
yeah, those are separate, I think.
Okay, I thought that was a pair.
And then
And-
Aura had the
Got it.
skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, talking about items. Sorry if I cut you off.
No, it's perfect.
Kind of talking about items, and then going back to Josh's question a long time ago, favorite characters. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't really want to pick Ainz. Because there's so many background characters that everybody kind of got little bits and pieces, because I'm kind of tied between the maid, Nabarella Gamma, which is the maid that went with him,
Oh yeah.
and the Gildan stuff. I really liked her a lot. And then Pandora's actor. Just because of the comedic humor, he was absolutely awesome. I loved every bit about him.
Yeah.
I loved him
Surprised me at
so much. He was super fun. He was like, I did not expect a neo-Nazi dressed dude to come out and be like this super humorous thing, and that just completely embarrassed him. It shows the human aspect that Ainz put into the game when he made Pandora's actor.
Right.
It's just some funny thing he thought just to put into the game that'd be awesome, and now he has to deal with it, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So he might be my favorite, just due to the comedic factor.
When I was watching it the first time and he turns around, you first see him, I was like, this is Blake's favorite character, I know it is.
I don't know, he just hit me real hard. I just loved it so much.
Josh, did you ever say who your favorite was?
Mine, I don't know, like, character-wise, like, as far as character development, I really like Ainz. But as far as, like, characters that we haven't really seen much of, but I think that are gonna do some really cool things, probably Demiurge and Cebus are probably my favorites. Cause, I mean, Demiurge, if he's a half demon? Or,
I think he's a demon.
Okay, just full demon.
I think so.
I mean, you already know. And
You see
whenever
him transform too.
yeah, you see him transform. You see him in command of like 2 other beasts, and he's just like walking around all sly and chill and stuff. I think he's gonna do something really cool. And then I also think that Sebus is,
Sabus?
you know, Sabus,
I think it's Sabus.
Seabiscuit. He's.
I just see his last name and all I see is Titan.
Like, I just feel like he is probably going to be like one of the most BA characters. He's going to do like that self-sacrifice thing. That's just the aura that he gives off. But
I could see that.
He's a pretty cool dude that and just as much as he has been in the show, honestly, because he's gotten quite a bit of screen time. Well, maybe not quite a bit, but he got a lot more than a lot of the other background people did. And
A lot
yet
for being
you hardly
the
know.
butler.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think-
you hardly know anything about him.
I think
Right.
he's going to be stronger than like anyone else in there other than Ainz.
That was my next question: is who do you guys think is the strongest of the NPCs?
Ooh, that is.
Okay,
That's
real quick before we
really
get to that,
tough.
I have a prediction about Seabiscuit. I think sometime before he dies. I'm sorry, these names are getting me.
It's gonna stick.
Let's call him Sabus.
Sebus? Sure. I think that sometime before he dies, he's gonna end up with an eye patch. Because they always draw him with one of his eyes darkened. And I don't know, I see him getting an eye patch sometime in the future.
Oh, I thought
no.
I thought that was a constant thing. It was the same eye, wasn't it?
No, because I did notice that once or twice you get to see both eyes.
Oh.
It's very rare, but yeah, no, they always draw him like that.
I thought he
No.
had something going on there.
I always just assume that, you know, it's gonna lighten up one of these times and you're just gonna see the Sharingan or something, you know.
Oh, it's all about the eyes. That's what every anime has taught me. It's all about the eyes.
Those boys and their spinny eyes.
So quick question about the, I think they're siblings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ara and Mara.
Mara and Mara?
And yes, they're gender swapped.
Yeah, okay. Knew that. We were talking about eyes. Just the fact that, like, did they switch eyes at some point? I feel like that's gonna be so minor that they're never gonna address it, but...
I think it's just part of their character design.
Yeah.
Okay. It just, like, they each have one green and one blue, and they're opposite. So if one of them was born with 2 green and the other one born with 2 blue, they could have traded. But
I think that was just all part of their character design. Their set is just the difference in personalities, contrasting personalities. You've got the
Okay.
really straightforward gung ho Aura versus the timid setback Mari. I don't know. I thought it was really nice.
I want an MMO where you can get I don't even care if it's a cash shop item. You can get an item that lets you make NPCs. Like, that's ridiculous.
It is pretty cool.
Like-
The fact they're able to make people there and just like design them. Oh,
Yeah, all the OP people are people his guildmates created.
Right.
they designed them and gave them. I don't know. Well, I mean, they didn't give them personalities at the time, but you see their personalities come out through their creators, and as Ainz get stuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go on to anything else, I'm going to just put the bar really low on my favorite character, which was Gazef, the human warrior that you meet in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
So, one, really liked him. I just liked how, even though he was the strongest warrior, he got his men out at the cost of his own life. And then 2, I realized I'm incredibly racist because my favorite character is the one human guy. And also, when I started watching this, I saw the intro, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Blake had showed me like 2 pictures of this, and I thought Ainz was going to be the main villain. So I watched
Oh
the
yeah.
I see all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, interesting, no idea what's happening. And you see Ainz holding a flag with his troops behind him. I'm like, okay, but where are all the good guys? Then I start, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, he's the main character. Wow.
There are no good guys.
Nope.
There's no good guys or bad guys. It's just a bunch of guys.
Completely thought he was going to be the main villain, and turns out I'm just racist. So, there's that.
I think it's more speciesist, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Classes.
But isn't
No,
his
no,
class
good.
like necromancer? Well,
Oh, yeah,
what
that's
makes
right.
him a skeleton? Is that?
I mean,
He's a lich, thank you very much.
Oh, lich.
He's
Okay.
he's undead, and I mean, if you look at what all the maids, what are they? They're
Some
doppelgangers.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was the question. What are all?
Yeah, they're doppelgangers.
Oh, can they all look like other people? Is that the deal?
Possibly. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
They all had some giant oversized weapon that was usually like fists or something really impractical.
I'm looking up the race right now.
Of what?
Of doppelgangers.
They're just doppelgangers. They're their own race. They are
Yeah, right. A race of shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they are. It's exactly what, Pandora is. Pandora's actor.
Yeah. Yep. His doppelganger.
Speaking of...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm changing the subject.
I was going to as well.
Alright, speaking of the theme song... Is that not an amazing theme song?
That was such a good song.
It's really good.
I want to know if that was written for the show, because it meshes really well.
Yeah.
It
reminded me a lot of the, as far as like the styling and the vocals and the instruments of it, it reminded me a lot of the, Parasite intro, before it gets, all screamy. But it reminded me a lot of that. And Parasite intro is probably one of my favorite intros of all time.
I'm sure we'll get there in the future.
So their point, I was, music-wise, I don't remember a lot of the background music to the show, honestly. As much as I like to listen for music, a lot of shows, I don't think it stuck out to me the most. I mean, I enjoyed the artwork. Absolutely phenomenal to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it was...
All the characters it was cool to see how every single character with their own personalities were all drawn so differently. Like, it literally was in an RPG, how everything just looks so different.
Definitely.
Like, you're so right. I can't remember any of the background music.
I know. I was too engrossed.
Wow.
I just enjoyed the show so much. I don't think I paid attention. I mean, it's there to help influence stuff, which it does. But
Yeah, no, it does. I just, like, it's not like Death Note where I can remember pieces of it. Exactly.
Of course, that's for like incredibly reused again and again.
Right. It's also a lot longer than this one, so
True.
got drilled
Oh,
in.
what was the point? That's gonna. Shoot.
I would like to point out
Oh, I remember.
that Sharknado is a spell.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. It was.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. I completely forgot.
I put that in my notes. I'm like, Sharknado is a spell! Exclamation points. Must be discussed.
So, one big thing. Do you think Ainz ever ran into another player without knowing?
No.
I think so.
So?
I thought Clementine might have been.
I thought so too. She was the only one that stuck out because she was just so unique. Like, there was like I was just trying to think. Somebody wrote some code, some program for her to make her this crazy girl that worked with a necromancer.
I think, whoever.
She always,
What? Go ahead.
that she kept challenging the dude she worked with too. Like,
Yeah.
she kept saying, "I'm better. I can kill you at any time." Like, she kind of seemed more of a person, a human that got into the game than any of the other people you really met. Honestly.
Well, I don't think anyone in the world is necessarily from the game,
Right.
other than Ainz people.
That's what I'm thinking too, is that this is like...
A real world.
Yeah, this isn't the game anymore. This is a real world that's based on the game in like an alternate dimension kind of thing or something like that.
Well, I'm wondering if behind the Black Scripture people, if there's not another Yggdrasil player behind them, because they show up and they start casting magic and summoning creatures from Yggdrasil. So I'm wondering if they didn't teach them how to do that. Anywho, that was a thought.
That's yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Cause, I mean, whenever they introduced the 3 countries, Black Scripture was kind of the battle force behind one of those countries, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the something Dominion.
Okay.
Of it.
So, I mean, like, unless, like, players get transported to this world at different times, like, I wasn't really considering that a possibility, but now that you say that, it's really strong
I
possibility.
wasn't even necessarily saying different times. I think just what are the odds that someone else was logged in when the
Right.
server shut down?
Oh yeah.
But then I don't know how they would have traveled, how they would have had time to teach the magic than have them travel halfway across the land to attack Ainz' people. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm not really sure on the time frame there.
How long was Ainz stuck in bronze?
It was before that, though.
Yeah.
It
Right,
was,
but,
it was
like-
when he saved the village.
Right, but... Or what was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was
so-
like episode.
That's when he does
4.
the swap with Gazef.
Okay, so he wasn't in the world for that long, was he?
No, because
At that
Gazef was going to, like, 1v50
Right.
all of those people. And it was like, you did good, kid. Go play in the corner.
Take a nap. Sorry, I had that at the wrong time. I was thinking that after that point, I feel like his thing with Gazef happened fairly soon after he realized he was stuck in this world, and then after that I kind of lost track of how long it had been. So I was thinking, maybe he did a bunch of stuff that we didn't see,
Well,
and so any other potential players could have had that time to do whatever they needed.
I'm wondering what the time actual difference was between when he actually went to that village and when he got to the world. Because that was
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, before he even met Gazef or anything.
Ooh, that's another question.
Yeah.
If this isn't, like, if he's still stuck in the game or something like that, is time still going on the same for his body? Like, is this like SAO, where time's still going at the same pace, or is this all happening like Excel world, where it's just an instant?
I just assume that it's, I don't even concern myself with what's happening in the real world.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't, pretty much, yeah.
If he just disappears one day, we'll that was the answer.
Right.
And
Well,
until then.
That's what I'm wondering too, though, is like, if all of a sudden we're gonna start seeing him, like, slowly, like, losing power, and he's like, what's going on? And then he's like, oh, my real world body's sick or something like that. I don't know. I thought that'd be interesting to see. Like, if, I don't know. Never mind.
Honestly, I just want his body to have just disappeared into a black hole in our world, and for him to just be completely in that world, because I think that's just,
Yeah.
I want to see what he does.
I'd rather see one of these I'd rather see these immersion game stuck in a game be more like that than have some outside force on them being like, I gotta get out.
Well,
Right.
that also might be the gamer in me speaking, because that's like the ultimate gamer fantasy is everything I was working towards is actually real.
Yeah.
I told you all that time I wasn't wasted, Mom!
Plus, with as fast as he gave up on trying to get out, I feel like the way that they did that in the show, they're not going to have him deal with his human body.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but to me, that's the feeling they kind of gave, was like, just don't worry about it.
If they do, that'll be like an episode 90 thing, where they're just like, oh look, he's weak for this arc, let's throw some bad guys at him that normally couldn't beat him. You know. I don't know.
We don't know what to do yet. Throw in filler.
Oh,
Exactly.
no, Naruto, no.
Oh. Do. Listening to this again. That's probably copyright. I'll probably have to cut that out. Hey!
One thing we forgot to mention when we talked about the intro was, Oliver, didn't you say that a lot of it's in English?
Yeah, like I think like half the words are in English.
Yeah. And it was, some of it I couldn't tell when they switched. Like, once you had mentioned that, I went back and rewatched the intro a couple times, and there were parts where I'm like, that could have been English, and I just couldn't understand it. And there were parts where you could definitely read the subtitles at the bottom and hear them say it at the same time.
My favorite part is, I'm in a panic! I really like that part.
Yeah.
They definitely have room to go on where they want to go on the show. They left it with so many cliffhangers.
No, I really can't. I don't think there's much, in my opinion, to touch on what they could have done differently, because there's just so much left to do that I'm excited.
I I thought that they were going to use Gazeth more, but I think they're going to do that in the future, especially since Brain showed up.
Yeah.
Who they named one of their dumbest characters Brain, but sure, whatever. And then I think they're eventually going to find. I expected them to introduce another Yggdrasil player, but they'll probably do that in the future. And honestly, I kind of don't want them to.
See, I kind of wish they had from the beginning. Not someone strong, just someone in his guild that he could have talked to, and that way we would have gotten more insight to what he was thinking. Like, yeah, he talks to himself a little bit, but I felt distant from him, and to where, like, I couldn't follow his actions. And I feel like if he had one other person just to talk through some of the stuff with, that would have helped. But
I kind of feel like that, he needs to cement himself as, I am absolute ruler here.
Right. I get that. It blows out so much of the stuff, but
yeah.
I was confused at some time, or some parts of the episodes, and I was like, this would be so easy if you just had, like, this stupid character this Natsuko. Sorry, we haven't seen that anime yet. This, forgetting his name from Death Note.
Matsuda.
If you had the Matsuda, you had to explain everything to him, be great. And I feel like some of that was with the stuff that we talked about earlier, where he's becoming this undead person and he's transitioning into that kind of mindset. And, I just couldn't follow when he did that. And so I feel like if he had someone to collaborate with that was on his level, like, from his world, I guess, dealing with the same issues he was, then maybe we would understand it more.
I kind of like the mystery, though. Like, I like not knowing what he's gonna do next, which is not common, especially for main characters in a show.
Yeah.
That, their reaction is usually the most predictable one. And it's usually the villains that are the ones that are supposed to keep you guessing, but they don't always, if it's, depends on how well the story's written. But I think they leverage their way into, one, making someone who might become a bad guy, the guy that you're focused on, and two, just keeping the main character to get you to keep guessing. I don't know. I really did expect them to bring another Yggdrasil player in there, but I kind of feel like it's going to cheapen the story when they do.
Imagine if the one player, like you were saying, that could possibly brought in. Well, if he was just like some guy that just joined on at like the very last day. He didn't know his clothes on. He was in that guild as like a bronze star. He's like, "Ooh boy, my first adventure!" So exciting, gets trapped.
Like level 4.
He bought into the level 100 account.
Oh gosh.
And then he has all this stuff and he has no idea what to do with it. And then you find out at the end it's like one of those like 5-year-old COD kit players, It's like,
oh gosh.
I'll kill you!
Oh, the havoc. Oh my god.
Oh, that was
so if they want to take their story and just throw it out the window, that's the way to do it.
If they have to make a filler, please be that. If anything, please be that.
Oh boy. Besides the side show they have about the maids.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. I completely forgot about that.
I haven't seen it.
What's it called?
It's Overlord, Pleiades.
Well, if you need more...
It's about the background of the, maid stuff like that. It's, definitely not as well ranked as what Overlord is, but it's more of a fun kind of story to watch. I personally haven't seen it yet. It's only 8 episodes though.
So if you need more of an Overlord fix, but you're not gonna get the same feel necessarily character focus, but, hey.
It's more comedy than it is much of action and stuff. So it's more funny. It's more fun and funny to watch.
Honestly, I like the show so much that I might not even care if it doesn't have the same feel. I might go watch it anyway.
I know I will. I haven't gotten to it, but I would love to watch it because, that'll definitely describe what a lot of the maids and other people in the background. It's giving them story, background for stuff. Honestly, if you look at the people, like I like the people in the background that we haven't seen much. Those are my favorite characters.
I agree.
I really like
I just looked at the first episode. One, they seem to be like 3 to 4 minute episodes. So they're shorts. 2, they're drawn really, really cartoony. I wouldn't say chibi, maybe 2-dimensional chibi. I don't know. It's
Does it kind of have the look of like Rock Lee and his Ninja Pals? Is that
a little bit. I know we haven't talked about this anime, but on Log Horizon, whenever Akatsuki's got her,
the outro.
yeah, the little like cute version of Akatsuki where the eyes take up like 60% of her face, it looks like that.
Pretty
I'm
good
looking at a
chance that's
picture-
Chibi. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think of Chibi as not Rock Lee and his Ninja Pals, and then the Attack on Titan Junior High thing, which are more like I don't
Chibi
know.
will be a discussion, like a topic in itself sometime.
Yeah, it means
We'll definitely get there.
But I'm looking at a picture of Ainz covered in confetti. So there's that.
It is, Jason described it well. It is 2D. It's like it's just artwork. It's just straight up drawings. It's not animation 3D that they put in it. But I mean, honestly, from like looking through they are little short episodes, but they are kind of fun little things to watch.
Yeah, no, it looks fun. Doesn't look like you're gonna get threatening at all in the slightest, but
yeah,
if you love the character, go back for it.
I want more. Alright. Anyone else have any other points?
No?
Not really. I can't think of anything I really disliked. It's like I've said before, not to keep beating something, but just how open it is left. It's just like I don't find anything I can't dislike.
Yeah.
The only thing I will dislike, if there's no season 2.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I 100% endorse that.
If and then I'll get mad if they don't include any more Pandora's actor. Then I'd be pretty sad. But I see from him, the only thing we'll probably get much out of him is maybe like out of each season he might be in 1 or 2 episodes. Just as that fun guy that Ainz always has to go to look for something.
He did come out of the basement for the resurrection, so there's hope.
True.
I will say I did read of rumors that the second season would come out later this year. So,
Yeah, that's what I've seen as well.
That's rumors, yay!
Yep, no facts. Hey, we can all hope.
So, with our widespread influence and power, we can encourage our listeners, right, to write Madhouse and make sure that they make a season 2, right? That's gonna happen, right?
There is supposed to be a light novel coming out for Overlord. And knowing Madhouse, they will probably do some sort of anime to like help promote it. Like, even if it's just like the shorts like they did for the maids, the battle maids.
Okay, so real life story here. I liked this so much that I went to Barnes & Noble to try and buy myself some Overlord manga.
Mhm.
And in the manga section, they had this big black book with beautiful artwork on the front, and it says Overlord on the front. And I'm like, I found it! Yes! And I open it up, and it's a novel! Like,
Oh, yeah.
a graphic novel. It is a straight up book. And I'm like, what have you done?
That's, not to go, well, I mean, Log Horizon is that as well.
Oh no! I wanted the graphic novel. I wanted to read it and see all the pretty pictures. So Barnes and Noble. It was originally. It's a graphic novel, right? There is a graphic novel.
Yeah, I think it was a manga, if I remember right.
Why would you
Why would they switch over?
Well, okay, I get that maybe they want to market more things, but why would they just have the book? They didn't have any of the manga. It's just the book. So, anywho, that's my soapbox. That's how this anime has affected me in real life. And anywho.
As far as season 2, we can trust Funimation, right? They'll get it out on time.
Don't start about Funimation.
That'll just be the topic for one of the ends of one of our episodes.
The week we watch Evangelion, the topic will be Funimation. So,
oh god,
prepare yourselves. I have a rant coming.
The rest of us can just go like get dinner while you
while you rant.
Yeah.
Come back. Oh, he's not done yet.
Book a solid 4 hours for that one. Oh.
Oliver's Tale of Evangelion.
It is. Let me tell you, it's an epic. That's what it is. That long.
Did the Evangelion movies finish? Are they all out now?
No.
Well, no, there's...
Four.
Have you not watched the most recent one?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen any of the movies. I've only watched the anime.
Come over and we'll watch it all together, and we'll just sit there and wonder how the universe even came together at all if it knew this was going to come out of it. That makes it sound like a bad thing. It's not bad. It's just not. It's not anything.
We'll get you through it.
Oh.
Okay.
As long as there's no clapping at the end, I'll be okay.
Not so far. I mean, there's one more. There's another movie to go. Oh, you don't know yet.
After the third one, no one knows.
On a super side note, this should be cut. I probably need to get going soon because I'm really hungry and I need to probably start working on my note cards for this week before it gets too late.
Can you do the topic? It probably won't be long.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that we need to probably wrap up here soon so
All right.
I can start doing work.
Well,
tomorrow.
let's move on. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all we have for Overlord. I felt like I maxed out there. I'm gonna try that again.
No, fine.
That's all we have for Overlord. Next week, Jason has picked out Attack on Titan for us, so watch the first season of that. It should be everything that's currently released. And each week we pick a topic relating to the anime scene, and we give our thoughts on it. This week we have a heated battle between subbed and dubbed. And for those of you unfamiliar with the terms, subbed is subtitles, watching it in Japanese with English subtitles, and dubbed is having English voice actors redo the voices for the characters. So it causes a deep divide in the anime community.
On my preference of the verses, maybe I'm with a lot of people, I don't know. I never really have a deep preference for either. Because I'll watch stuff in subbed, I don't have a problem, but then there's stuff in dubbed that I absolutely love the voice actors for. And there's some in dubbed I don't care for whatsoever and like the sub a lot better. So I guess it's more on when I listen to the voice actors, it's whose voices I can really put to the character that I enjoy.
I have a preference for dubbed. And I know that there's a lot of people who'll cringe at hearing me say that. I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be. I mean, there's some people who are like, wow, dubbed is trash. Like, you shouldn't ever listen to dub, it's stupid. And I'm like, it's really easy to consume. Like, you can just sit there and you don't have to divert your attention away from the viewing experience to read everything all the time. Not that...
Dare you not give your full attention. This is life.
I'm saying it's allowing me to concentrate on the artwork and the story and the plot, and I don't have to focus my attention on the lower 1/3 of the screen all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, I'm just gonna bring out a point here. Steve Bloom and Johnny Young Bosch, I think is his last name, and that just seals the deal for dubbed for me. Steve Bloom has, like, a voice in everything, and it never sounds the same. And Johnny is like every main character ever, and they all sound exactly the same, and I don't care.
Okay, so I definitely know who Steve is. Who is Johnny?
He's the voice actor for Yukimura in Samurai Kings, Lelouch in Chaos,
yeah.
And
Sasori and
Sasori and
Naruto,
Ichigo in Bleach.
Right,
And they all sound
right.
the same, and I don't care at all.
They're the exact same voice. He doesn't try it at all.
He just talks, and I'm just like, yes, all of your characters are amazing.
And then Steve Bloom, he can literally do any voice ever.
He never sounds the same.
He is Zabuza and Spike Spiegel. I think those are the only two people that I've ever heard that are the same.
Yeah.
But he is, just for a spectrum, he's Orochimaru in Naruto, and Gyomon, the red dinosaur from one of the original Digimon series.
And Liron from not Cookie-S, Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, so he goes everywhere.
Hey, don't forget about Keisuke Takahashi from Initial D.
I have not seen that, so I wouldn't know. But now I'm gonna go watch it. Steve Bloom is in it. Oh, So,
He's
For
done
those of you
so
guys
much.
that don't know, we're getting all these voice actors from a website called Behind the Voice Actor. If you just Google that, you'll find it. You can search any anime and they'll give you the English, Japanese, and sometimes like French or Italian voice actors for every anime I've seen. I don't know that they're missing any. But also it's a good source for character names.
and
Especially
spoilers.
something. Oh yeah, spoilers. Definitely spoilers. Don't be careful.
If you want to be super safe on finding people, you can also find them on IMDb.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Okay.
That too. And I'll tell you everything they've ever been in. Like Steve Blum he is accredited for 630 things.
He's in everything.
Pretty amazing.
Uh,
That'd be a
Jason-
dream job.
Jason,
another
what's
good thing that Behind the Voice Actor is good for, if you're far enough into the show that you're not worried about spoilers, but you're trying to come up with character names, they have an image of each of the characters and their names, which, yes, can be spoilers because some characters go by different names and they'll list them all. Use at your own discretion, but it is a very, very good tool if you use it correctly.
Or you could look him up, figure out that you can't pronounce the name at all, and call him Seabiscuit.
Sabis is not that hard. Come on.
But Seabiscuit
Sabis.
is so much better.
So Jason, what's your take on dub versus sub?
I prefer dubbed. I think that comes from starting with Naruto in the 7th grade and just getting used to all of those voice actors. I love watching an anime and realizing that, hey, that is this background character from Naruto. Or, hey, this is this character from another anime that I love. The fact that the English dub voice actor pool is so small, I feel like they're all connected in this weird way, or at least in my head. Also, one of Oliver's points that he had, you don't have to concentrate on reading. Personally, I don't read super fast, so every once in a while I'll have to pause it. Like if there's a giant paragraph, or if there's something cool that I didn't get to see and I want to go back and look at that. With dubbed, I can just watch and observe everything that's happening on screen and get completely engulfed in that and not have to worry about what they're saying because I can hear it. And I know that a lot of people hate dubbed because of the small pool of voice actors, but personally it's one of the things that I like.
Yeah. And also a different take of mine that, to relate two different things. When watching Psychopaths, I watched the first 3 episodes of both and absolutely loved dubbed voices for every character. And so I just went with that. While on Toradora, on the other hand, I watched the first 3 episodes of both and despised every single English one. Well, primarily the 2 of the 5 main characters, I despised their voices, so I could not stand it, so I had to watch that in sub. So, I don't know, it comes and goes. It depends on the people, I guess, the voice actors, but I don't have a preference really for either. It's just kind of how I feel when I watch the first couple episodes of a show.
I'm kind of the same way, Blake, but I'm more of whichever one I'm watching is going to determine how I'm watching the show. Because for me, like for example, Steins Gate. Steins Gate has such a complicated plot that you really have to understand exactly what's going on if you want to really enjoy it. So for me, I started watching it in dub because, dubbed is a lot easier to consume. It's a lot easier to, get into, enjoy the animation, enjoy the series. But for instances like in the dub, whenever they don't have the subtitles, like Steins Gate doesn't, so whenever the main character's texting, you never know what he's talking about, and texting in that series is so important.
Yeah.
So I had to switch over to subbed. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to both subbed and dubbed, but usually the way I do it is if I'm watching an anime for the plot, the context, what they're talking about, the character development, I'm gonna watch sub because I want to know exactly what they're saying and I want to hear it from like the original voice actor's voice. But if I'm watching the show just to enjoy the show, to have a good time, to like Ufotable, their animation is amazing. The Fate series, if I'm watching that, it has dubbed available. I'm gonna go watch the dub because I want to focus on their animation, on watching these glorious fight scenes, on watching everything that they've put their blood, sweat, and tears into, rather than having to look at the bottom screen and only getting it in my peripheral vision.
Josh, you
And going back hang on, Oliver. And going back to how you said you watched Steins Gate and subbed, I watched it in dubbed the whole way because Okabe's voice for English was absolutely amazing. I loved him, the guy who did him as a mad scientist. Hands down, got into character so very well. Second, a person that gives him a run for his money is the teacher from Assassination Classroom. I haven't seen that voice actor of the main guy in there. He's absolutely fantastic. Like, getting into character is literally the most.
Josh, you did bring up a good point. The subbed will be a literal translation of what they said.
Right.
And the dubbed will be altered to match the mouth movements. So you don't always necessarily get a
word for word
what they were intending when it was the dialogue was spoken, because they animated it for Japanese and they try to get an English translation that somewhat matches up with the mouth movements, which doesn't always work so well. Because
Believe it.
I was about to say, you know what, Oliver? Believe it.
Oh.
And you're right. It is a very good point.
So Josh is right. When it's a very intricate plot and you want to pick up on all the details, it's important, to consider subbed. Also, another point for subbed is that there's just by far more material available for subbed.
Oh, goodness.
Netflix is pretty good about having English dubs, and Hulu's about 50-50. Crunchyroll has more anime than both of them, and it's almost exclusively subbed. I think there's three series that they have on there that's dubbed, and they're not like popular ones either. So
I think is it Ruby? Is that their?
Ruby. Yeah.
I didn't know if Ruby was on there.
Rooster Teeth. Yeah.
Okay, so Ruby's popular, but I mean that didn't start with a Japanese voice cast though, did it?
No, that's American, made by Rooster Teeth.
Okay, so I mean, officially that's technically not even anime.
Right.
Whoa.
It's not. Anime is Japanese.
Yeah. So
just like Avatar's not anime.
And all the Avatar fans gasped.
Shouldn't. It's not even the same style.
I just took out half our viewers, I'm sorry.
Well, if you're still here,
I can leave, I'm sorry.
That's okay. They should know that Santa Claus isn't real.
Ruby is even said on Crunchyroll that it is an animated series.
It is an animated series. That doesn't make it an anime.
That'll be a whole nother topic too. You guys are just bringing them all up.
Jason's
just
bashing.
Edit these things out and put them in a little.
Jason is bashing the late Monty Ohm. Ugh.
The what?
Monty Ohm. He's the creator of Ruby, who died.
Oh.
While making it, which I believe he is. I think he is of Japanese descent. No, he isn't. Well, maybe he is. He was born in the U.S., though.
The definition of anime is made in Japan.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's the official definition. But it's This will be another topic because.
So wait, what's like Chinese or like South Korean anime?
We're gonna, this is really another topic for another time. We will get there.
Okay.
Hey, let's just do that next week.
Oh goodness.
That'll be our topic.
What's your favorite non-anime anime?
Oh no.
We'll discuss the boundaries of anime.
Sounds good.
Any more thoughts on subbed and dubbed and how you like it?
I would make the suggestion to just go watch whatever you want. Like, if there's an anime that you're wanting to watch, either way you watch it, if it's something that you're gonna enjoy, just go enjoy it. Don't worry about all the little specifics, because if you really like the anime, you're probably gonna end up watching it another time, too. And you can watch it the other way if you want to.
And that's an important thing, is that the story's gonna be the same. Don't let anyone bully you because you're watching it one way or the other. Like, it's supposed to be a fun experience anyway. It's not a sport. You don't have to follow some strict set of rules, you know. And clearly the people who made the show sold the rights to have it dubbed. I mean, they produced it in another language. Like, they know the market's there, and they're obviously okay with it, so.
Also, if you try something and you just can't stand the voice actors, switch over to whatever you weren't on and try it that way.
Oh man, I have
Don't give up on a show just because of a voice actor. Is
yeah.
what I'm saying.
I will say there are shows that, as we've hit on before, that are much better in dubbed and much better in subbed. When I originally watched Death Note, I watched it in the subbed, and Light's voice actor is vastly different from the American one. He doesn't have the high-pitched voice, he doesn't get the cackly laugh, and then hearing it that way for the first time in English, I'm like, this sounds wrong. And then also L does not have the deep man voice that he does. And you hear that and you're just like, you must be like 10 years older than your character's supposed to be portrayed. And it just felt so weird getting into it. Now that I've watched it again in there, it doesn't seem so weird. But I remember the first time I'm just like, this is wrong. This is weird. But then the other side of it, I think of shows like Dragon Ball Z, where the English voice actor for Goku, like, that's a guy who could punch you into the ground and kill you. And in the Japanese, it's hee when they power up, you know, and you're just like, what? I don't feel threatened at all. It's Attack of the Screaming Chihuahuas.
Can you do that one more time for us?
I'll just soundboard it. I practiced that one. I've got that one on cue. Watch what you want to watch. Like what you want to like. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. You know, have a good time.
Believe it.
That's what anime's about. If you want to believe it, you can believe it.
Oh yeah, real quick. If you hate Naruto for Believe It, switch over to subbed. It doesn't have it. Give it a chance. That's all I ask.
You will be disappointed by Kakashi's voice actor, though.
You will.
You'll also be disappointed by the fillers.
Kakashi's voice actor in dubbed is unique and has a bunch of the I don't care attitude, and just the sub to me sounds like the blandest thing ever.
It really does. Although if you start Naruto episode 1 and you just can't handle the Believe It, which yes, you'll know by then, you can switch over before you meet Kakashi and it might not be a problem.
I was gonna say, I don't have a problem at all with it.
Or watch up to episode 30 with it, and then switch over to dubbed anyway, or whatever. Who cares? Do what you want!
We don't make the rules.
I think that's the moral of sub versus dub, is do what you want.
I like that more.
Yeah. Alright, is that all our thoughts on the matter?
I think so.
And in relation to do what you want, that's pretty much what Ainz did in Overlord. So, there's your tie-in.
We're so desperate for those. Throw us a bone. Anything. That's it for episode 2 of Senpai Noodles. Next time we'll be discussing the first season of Attack on Titan, so be sure to watch and tune in. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, be sure to leave us a review on the iTunes store. And if you're watching it on YouTube, be sure to give us a like and leave a comment. And no matter where you're hearing us, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of the anime goodness. Our intro and outro is Press Start by Morgan David King. Be sure to check in the description for more links to great music. You can email us with your comments and questions at podcast@senpainoodles.com. Tell us what shows you'd like to hear us review, topics you want to hear us discuss, or just say hi. We'll read it and we'll read it. Also, check out our website, senpainoodles.com, where you can find all of our episodes. Until next time, happy watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Alright, that's it.
Okay. Bye.